Okay, so I got to start with this. Before I put my hand up yesterday and today, I say, okay, I got to get this question right. Like, I got to have the question right, but...
Not necessarily right, but with enough momentum that it's viable.
Okay.
You got to remember, while you're creating the question, you're also creating the answer.
Yeah, okay. So I want to talk about love.
Love is what you feel when you're in sync with the whole of who you are.
Love and the heart, and in terms of relationships, in terms of like intimate relationships, and more specifically with a woman, it's like in my life and not in my life, and then in my life and not in my life, and it's kind of like I'm in this place where...
Well, it's important that you don't let the situation be what calibrates you. Because even as you were describing, in my life, not in my life, in my life, not in my life, the fluctuation of what you're feeling, sort of fluctuating in response to what you're observing, you got to get that turned around so that you're steady in your alignment, and then you attract what you are wanting.
Yeah, okay, but I attract another back in moment, and there's this, I feel it. I feel this layer of protection on my heart, and it doesn't feel good to not get past that.
Well, the easiest thing to do, because without meaning to, and sometimes without realizing it, sometimes realizing it, not just you, but everyone, has a knee-jerk reaction to what you're observing. It's like you get trained by the situation into a response. So the easiest way to clean up that vibration is by getting off the subject of relationship and on the subject of love, on the subject of alignment. In other words, become fascinated with the feeling of alignment. There are so many subjects in your life that you do not have a sense of needing to protect yourself.
No, that's what makes this so poignant.
That's why we like having this conversation about attraction, because when you think about being a deliberate creator, you do really well at it until you start including another person who you believe has the power to hurt you, who you believe has the power to do things that make you need protection. That's why if you get off the subject, in other words, we have often said, take money out of the equation and learn how to align with prosperity. And so we could say, take those intimate personal relationships out of the equation in order to accomplish vibrational alignment with that true love. What most people are doing is you're not patient enough. You just keep diving in and having an experience and then responding to it, calibrating to it. And somehow we want you to hear, you want to calibrate apart from the experience, calibrate apart from the experience. It's so easy to believe what has happened to you, and so hard to believe the vortex version that hasn't happened yet. It's so easy to believe what's happened to you, and so hard to believe the vortex version that hasn't happened. But it's only because you've spent more time practicing that version than that version. That's all. So if you take relationship out of the equation and instead focus upon alignment and love, focus upon alignment, interest, alignment, clarity, alignment, thought expansion, alignment, momentum of thought, alignment, good feelings, and get off the subject. In other words, if you could say, and even sort of kind of mean it, relationships right now are off the table for me. Relationships with anyone other than with my inner being, I'm going to get out ahead of it. I'm going to get out ahead of it. That really is the work.
And it's so funny, like on the cruise, like my logical brain says, okay, we're on the last two cruises were like like it was terrible after the cruise. I would say it's a time for greater understanding and greater clarity, and I'm not sure what gets triggered or got triggered, and it became like really on.
First of all, in this setting, we own the room. And when you listen to us, you tune into who you are. Well, even that is a conditional response. It's easier for you to tap into who you are under this condition than under any other condition. And so when this isn't happening, we can understand how you might lose your grip a little bit. But you got to practice that alignment. You just got to practice it. And it is not helpful to remember and regurgitate that it was hard afterwards.
I know, it's starting to disappear already. It's like, I see it. I'm getting it.
Say more?
No, just about the folly of it, the irony of it, like being here on the cruise, and then what happens is like crazy. How totally opposite to.
So we could say it's a good thing for you to stop talking, because every word you're saying is working against what you want. You're not even having that experience yet, but you're talking about it in anticipation of it, or in memory of it, you see. And we get that. What you're describing is how life has programmed you. Life has calibrated you. That's not accurate. You have allowed yourself to be calibrated. And, we understand it for sure, because your observational powers are your most practiced powers. We've been saying that in lots of different ways. Most people offer most of their vibrations in response to what they are observing. But that's not getting out ahead of it. That's regurgitation. That's not creation. That's regurgitation. And so the good news is, and this is our favorite part of what you said, when you said, so felt pretty good on the cruise and afterward it was terrible? Terrible! It was terrible. Well, in that terrible, it's all right. In that terrible, you created a stronger desire. In other words, it's more probable that you will find it this time than ever before, because it's bigger here. But you got to look to where it is, not to where it isn't. It really is that simple. And we know for sure, we know that you want your independence from not feeling good. We get it, that when conditions are lovely, it's so easy to feel good. But that's a human trait that makes you need to control conditions which you can't do. That's a human trait which makes you need to control other people, which you cannot do. That's a human trait that, we liked your word folly. It will lead you to something that you don't want every single time. It's an elusive thing that you're chasing when you're wanting conditions to be appropriate so that you can have a feeling response to conditions. And when you get it flipped, where you are responding to the vibration of your source and therefore allowing the conditions to respond also, then you have your power back, you see. Then you have your power back. We liked the power of this conversation and the potency of your question. And we like what's going on in your vortex.
Thank you.
Yeah. Just settle down now. And hold still so that we don't knock your teeth out with this microphone. You feeling pretty good now? Do you have any duct tape? Not for her mouth, for her arms.
Thank you.
Yeah.
It's just awesome. Like this morning, I just saw the dolphins, and I always wanted to see them. And today, I always wanted to be on the hot seat. All the questions that I wanted to ask, every single thing, even just the joint pain and the being emotional, it's all been answered. I just said to myself,
get out.
I just want to be in the hot seat. I just want to feel how hot this hot seat is. And it's just the coolest thing. And I just love you so much. I don't know what else to say.
We think that's pretty good. Okay, we want you to observe that point of attraction.